So we are going to do the extra content of political science. Now, let's see what is it about. So basically this particular part is not tested in the exam. It's just for the basic understanding and at times it also helps in answer writing. So like last year it was tested, it was explicitly mentioned that they're gonna test this particular part of class 12. But this year they have explicitly mentioned that they're not going to test it. But who knows what if it comes? So let's understand. So extra content is from all chapters. Little bit content, just this. You need to read the just this. So if you see end of bipolarity. So the Arab Spring is the major topic. 21st century witnessed the emergence of new developments for democracies and democratization in the West Asian nations, so the Middle East, right? One such event is characterized as the Arab Spring. Basically, this movement, Arab Spring, had started in Tunisia. This is a country which is in Africa. Arab Spring took its roots where the struggle against corruption, unemployment, and poverty was started by the public, which turned to be a political movement, right? Because people considered existing problems such as outcomes of autocratic dictatorship. Demand for democracy started in Tunisia through Muslim-dominated Arab countries in West Asia. Now we're going to talk about this particular leader who was Hosni Mubarak. Basically, remember Mubarak, it's very easy to remember Mubarak word, who's been in power in Egypt since 1979, also collapsed as a result of massive democratic protests. In addition, influence of Arab Spring would be seen in Yemen, Bahrain, Libya, Syria, where similar protests by people led to democratic awakening throughout the region. So this particular thing is about Arab Spring, where we are talking about how there was a need for democratization to be spread in the regions of the West Asian countries. Basically, in the region of West Asia, which is Middle East, we also talked about one most important leader at that point of time, who was no one but who was Mubarak. Mubarak, whose reign basically collapsed in Egypt. It established in Tunisia in 2009, located in Tunisia, and therefore found its roots, right? So, yes. Next topic would be about BRICS. When we talk about contemporary politics, so we usually mention about BRICS. So, BRICS is one of such groupings that we need to remember. It's also very simple. It again helps in answer writing. So, the term BRICS refers to Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa collectively. It was formed in the year 2006 in Yekaterinburg in Russia. 2006, remember. So BRIC turned into BRICS after the inclusion of South Africa at its first meeting in the year 2009. We should remember that BRICS, foundation stones of BRICS was laid in the year 2006. However, its first meeting took place in the year 2009. The objective of BRICS was primarily to cooperate, distribute mutual economic benefits amongst the people, besides non-interference in the internal policies of each nation. 11th Conference of BRICS was conducted in Brazil in 2019, which was chaired with the Brazilian president, who was Jair Bolsonaro. So, at the time also, BRICS summit took place, and this particular BRICS summit took place where it was hosted in Russia only, and it also played a critical role basically in terms of internal security and in terms of building, like over there, like for example, when we talk about why regional stations are important or why regional organizations are important. Regional organizations are important because globally, if you when you see the policies, in that case, at times the region is getting more. So that is the reason regional policies are important. So in that case, we remember BRICS. We remember the 11th summit of BRICS that happened, that was chaired by Bolsonaro, which is there as per the NCRT content, CBC content. 2006 foundation stones were laid. In 2009 May, there was inclusion of South Africa, right? This is one topic. We finished with BRICS and Arab Spring. Remember the facts and just remember the main idea. You don't have to memorize anything. Next topic is about Russia. Subtopic Russia. So, Russia, it was the very largest part of the Soviet Union. We should remember, even before disintegration, after dissolution of Soviet Republic, Russia emerged as the strong successor of USSR. Full for USSR, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. So, GDP is currently 11th in the world, and it has reserves of minerals, natural gases that make up the powerful country in the whole world. It's a nuclear state, huge stock of sophisticated weapons also it has, and Russia is also a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. It's something which we already know, right? इंडिया का थोड़ा सा देख लेते हैं. Uh, wait. I think I should do some other annotation. This Israel also we're going to see. Mm, This makes sense. Now, India. So, 21st century, India is being seen as an important emerging power. This question is very important. That comment on this 21st century, India is seen as an economic important emerging global power. So, you can remember this because this is also a very important question, which is seen many a times in papers as well. So, world is experiencing power and the rise of India in the multidimensional way, whether it's in the economic sense or cultural sense or strategic position. Country with a population of 142 crores, from economic perspective, targeting a whole of $5 trillion, a comparative huge market with an ancient inclusive culture of 200 million people in the Indian diaspora. So, from strategic perspective, the military of India is self-sufficient with the indigenous nuclear technology, make it under nuclear power, and make it India scheme, vocal for local, Atmanirbhar Bharat. These are also some of the most important schemes. Indigenous, you can write about the current budget allocation where we have actually laid impetus over small modular reactors. Israel is Israel is emerged one of the powerful nations in terms of everything. So it's something which has a lot, but it does not show in terms of science, technology, defense, intelligence, space, besides economy. Situated in the middle of the West Asia, Israel has reached new heights by the virtues of indomitable defense prowess, technological innovations, and industrialization, agricultural development. Sustaining against adversity is the principle with the small Zionist nation. Israel is placed in the contemporary global politics in general and the Arab dominated West Asian politics in particular. So Israel is something it's sustaining against adversity. It's the principle of the small Jewish Zionist nation. Meaning of Zionism. So Zionism is something. There is a difference between anti-Semitism and Zionism. These are two important terms: anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism. So anti-Semitism is when you have hatred against Jews, and Zionism is when you are a Jew and you want something for Jew, right? So, for example, if you endorse Jews, right? In that case, that would be Zionism. However, if you have an element of hatred against Jews, you are known as anti-Semitist. Now, UNESCO. These are the international organizations that need to focus over. We have UNESCO, we have UNICEF, we have ILO, and we have, yes, that's it. तो यूनाइटेड नेशंस एजुकेशनल साइंटिफिक एंड कल्चरल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन 1946 हेडक्वार्टर है पेरिस फ्रांस में स्पेशल बॉडी है मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव इसका है कि आपको एजुकेशन नेचुरल साइंस सोसाइटी एंथ्रोपोलॉजी कल्चर कम्युनिकेशन ये सबको मेंटेन करना है cause promote करना है so special work done by UNESCO has been to promote literacy technical and educational training independent media etc UNICEF में होता है Child's Emergency Fund, so you just remember the full form. जैसे ILO is a very simple organization. 1919 में establish हुआ था headquarters का जेनेवा स्विट्जरलैंड में. भाई efficient conditions of social justice, workers को international labor standards, like incentive for men and women workers to engage in productive work and to create safety, parity, self-respectful conditions for them at workplace. Very simple, right? Children's Emergency Fund, Educational Fund. I always used to think about UNICEF as United Nations International Children's Education Fund, but it's Emergency Fund. Okay, always remember Emergency Fund. 1946 में establish हुआ था. UNESCO, UNICEF दोनों 1946 में establish हुए थे, ठीक है? इमरजेंसी फंड्स कलेक्ट करता है चिल्ड्रन उनके डेवलपमेंट के लिए हेल्प करता है प्रमोट करता है चिल्ड्रन की हेल्थ को बेटर लाइफ राइट हेडक्वार्टर्स का क्या है न्यूयॉर्क में है राइट तो यूनेस्को का हेडक्वार्टर फ्रांस में इसका हेडक्वार्टर न्यूयॉर्क में है ठीक है अब हम आते हैं ये वाला पार्ट विच इज अबाउट सिक्योरिटी तो सिक्योरिटी में टेररिज्म है एक इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक तो टेररिज्म क्या है सिस्टमैटिक यूज ऑफ ब्रूटल वायलेंस दैट क्रिएट्स एन एटमॉस्फेयर ऑफ टेरर इसको बोलते हैं टेररिज्म अब इसको बहुत तरीकों के लिए यूज करते हैं मेजरली इसको पॉलिटिकल रिलीजियस पर्पसेस के लिए यूज करते हैं ठीक है आगे अगर हम थोड़ा सा देखेंगे टेररिज्म के बारे में तो देयर वुड बी ब्रॉड थ्री मीनिंग्स ऑफ टेररिज्म एक सिंपल डेफिनेशन है अगर इसका आंसर लिखने को आए मान लो लेट्स सपोज एनी क्वेश्चन कम्स दैट थ्रो सम लाइट ऑन टेररिज्म or how terrorism is considered as a non-traditional mode of security. So whether any question comes, because question can come on this because it's a part of non-traditional security, which is under security chapter only, and that would come very directly and explicitly. So you can always mention these. A systematic use of terror, often violent, especially use of coercion. Violent acts which are intended to create fear, which are perpetuated for perpetrated for religious, political, ideological goals. ठीक है एंड एक्ट्स ऑफ अनलॉफुल वायलेंस एंड वॉर तो अनलॉफुल वायलेंस एंड वॉर के लिए भी यू आर यूजिंग इट And there's also so known as single nation that does not suffer from terrorism. Although some leaders have tried to divide terrorism into good or bad terrorism, India has always denied its distinction. India's current Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also clarified terrorism cannot be divided into good or bad. It's a global problem. It should be combated collectively, right? So you just remember this particular definition because this particular thing is merely a repetition of the above thing. Now we are starting with part B of it. It's not so huge. It's simple only. ठीक है तो नीचे से थोड़ा सा हम स्टार्ट करते हैं. Let's see this particular topic, right? It seems interesting. Kashmir issue. So we are on regional aspirations. Since its integration with the Union of India, Kashmir has remained one of the burning issues in post-independence India. Problem became more complicated when it was accorded special status in Constitution through through Article 370 and 335A. The former gave its powers having separate constitution, constituent assembly, nomenclature for chief minister as prime minister, governor as Sadar Riyasat, and non-enforcement of most of the union laws in the state, while the latter imparting special citizenship rights, prohibiting non-Kashmiris from buying property. So there are two articles in this particular thing. When we talk about Kashmir issue, we have Article 370. 370 particularly it talks about a separate flag, separate constitution, and assembly, etc. Right? That the union laws won't be applicable on Kashmir. However, when we talk of Article 35A, it deals with property only. That a non-Kashmiri cannot purchase the property in the region of Kashmir. Right? It was against the special status that Jammu and Kashmir. There was a clarion call for the abolition of the articles that constitutionally recognized separatism. It was against this background that current NDA government presented Jammu and Kashmir reorganization bill in the Rajya Sabha for the abolition of this, which was passed by majority. And the bill was passed by Lok Sabha. And after the president's assent, the sections of it now they were repealed and they got divided into two union territories, that is Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir. So you just remember when was it introduced in the parliament? Sorry, in the parliament to be more specific in Rajya Sabha in 2019, right? So let's see the other thing of it. It yes. So next is about some other topic which is about NDA 3 and 4. Basically, it's terms, right? Okay. So it's simple because there is nothing much in this NDA term वाला जो है. It's also very simple. तो क्वेश्चन आ जाता है एटलीस्ट बीजेपी पर तो आ जाए तो एटलीस्ट दिक्कत नहीं होगी अगर इफ यू हैव डन दिस. तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी लेड बाय प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी गॉट एन एब्सोल्यूट मेजोरिटी लोकसभा इन 2014 एंड नियरली 30 इयर्स इन इंडियन पॉलिटिक्स. ठीक है. क्यों? क्योंकि कोलिशन एरा स्टार्ट हो गया था 1989 के बाद. अब हमें क्रोनोलॉजी पता है कि कौन सी पहले गवर्नमेंट आई थी. नेशनल फ्रंट आई थी आपकी, फिर आपका बाद में यूनाइटेड फ्रंट आई थी, तो बहुत सारी गवर्नमेंट्स आई थी. तो अ, अ, दो कॉल्ड आपका एनडीए 3. ठीक है. बीजेपी led government was largely different with its predecessor coalition governments. When previous governments were led by one major political parties, NDA 3 was not only steered by national party BJP was also dominated absolute majority थी. तो surplus majority coalition बोलते हैं इसको. Remember surplus majority, this word is important. Yeah, in that sense, a major transformation could be seen in nature of the coalition politics, which was seen from one party coalition to one party coalition and one party dominated coalition. Over there, there was just one party, BJP. One party meaning there were single political parties, that too without any majority. But now what happened? You had one party majority coalition. You have BJP sitting at the helm and you have other political parties under it, right? So in that case, so 2019 में 17th Lok Sabha once again back BJP ND4 to the center of the power by winning more than 350 seats. BJP on its won 303 seats. Biggest number any political party has won in the lower house since 1984 when Congress swept the elections aftermath of Indira Gandhi's assassination. Based on tumultuous success of BJP, the social scientists have started equating the contemporary political system as BJP system, where an era of one-party dominance in the Congress system has once again started appearing on the Democratic front. इसकी कुछ पॉलिसीज के बारे में बिकॉज क्वेश्चन आता है जब 21st सेंचुरी पर लाइक वी हैव सीन ऊपर भी देयर वाज दिस होल पैरा दैट 21st सेंचुरी इंडिया इज कंसिडर्ड एज एन इमर्जिंग कंट्री. सो व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट India being a biggest democracy, India being the mother of democracy, India being the most populous country, when you're already mentioning that India has a population worth 142 crores, also it has a very stable market, a very competitive
market as well. It also has an ancient culture and a diaspora worth 200 million spread across the world. So there is no harm in writing policies also that have been implemented over a period of time, apart from that, policies which are current in place, right? Addition to schemes, several socio-economic welfare schemes there also. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, Swachh Bharat Yojana, Jan Dhan Yojana, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Yojana. Not all of them, but you know already, like Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, Ayushman Bharat scheme. All these are important by making rural households, particularly women, the real beneficiaries of the center sector schemes. So these are these particular schemes that are fine. They're very, very, again, I would say very important, right? So let's see the other part now. Right? Kashmir was a bit, I would say, it was very, I, the issue, no, it's very hot. Now we'll talk about other things. Let's move directly the upper parts only. Now we have Patel and national integration. Whenever a question comes about princely states or the role that Patel played in the government, that's remarkable, right? You need to mention about this, right? The first deputy prime minister, by लिख दो, home minister लिख दो, सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल. अब थोड़ा सा बैकग्राउंड देने के लिए of course to increase the number of lines and of course to present an answer that looks very remarkable and amazing. For that you need to mention, you can mention at least one of them, खेड़ा सत्याग्रह and बड़ौली पीसेंट सत्याग्रह. दो दोनों के में 10 साल का गैप है, जैसे यू कैन सी खेड़ा सत्याग्रह एंड बडोली पीसेंट सत्याग्रह. अब एट द टाइम ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस, तो द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ इंटीग्रेशन, खेड़ा सत्याग्रह वही थी, आपकी मिल जो इंडस्ट्री थी उधर स्ट्राइक हो गई थी. एंड जब गांधी जी ने हेल्प करी थी फैसिलिटेट करने में सत्याग्रह को, बटोली पीसेंट सत्याग्रह पीजेंट से रिलेटेड सत्याग्रह थी, नथिंग मच. At the time of independence, the problem of integration of the princely states was a big challenge for the national unity. We know this already, right? तो आयरन मैन ऑफ इंडिया बोलते हैं एंड यू नीड टू रिमेम्बर एनसीआर भी बोलते हैं. एनसीआर इज नॉट डेली एनसीआर रीजन, बट इट इज नेशनलिस्ट, right, from N, catalyst from C, and realist from R. Undertook several reforms uniting all 565 states, right? Merger into Indian Union was not in favor of any compromise with the territorial integrity of India, diplomatic prowess, and foresightedness. I'd already given their consent to merge. He faced lot many problems from three states, Hyderabad, Junagadh, and Kashmir. It was under the leadership that it compelled Hyderabad and Junagadh to merge. Keeping well versed with Pakistan's intentions for Jinnah's divisive two-nation theory was very different. Like Hyderabad, he also wanted Kashmir's integration with India through military operations, but due to various reasons, Sardar Patel could not succeed in integrating Kashmir fully with India. However, Patel will always remain as an astounding leader who combined in himself the features of new nationalist, catalyst, realist, probably characterized as NCR, जो मैंने बताया था, right? तो तीन places you just remember: Hyderabad, Junagadh, and Kashmir. Now we have Niti Ayog. Very small paragraph on Niti Ayog is there in the book as well, but it has nothing much. So it has Niti Ayog, both of these things, Niti Ayog as well as this particular thing, which is National Democratic Council. You read the Developmental Council. You read it in tandem with each other. Planning Commission, socialist model was formed. In the era of globalization, especially in 21st century, it was becoming ineffective and irrelevant, particularly in terms of coping with the pressing challenges of the development. So hence, during Independence Day, 15th August 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi talked about the abolition of Planning Commission. Niti Aayog was constituted in place of Planning Commission on 1st of January 2015 with an objective of providing necessary and technical advice to the union government regarding the policy making at the state or central level. Okay, so नीति आयोग, राइट, एक होता है ना कि आपको कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म का अप्रोच चाहिए होता है या फिर आपको बॉटम्स अप अप्रोच चाहिए होता है. तो बॉटम्स अप अप्रोच जो लाया था वो नीति आयोग लाया था. तो आपका मतलब नीचे से आप ऊपर जाते हैं, राइट? सो यू एक्चुअली फुलफिलिंग द डिमांड्स the state level, local level, you're making them happy, and then you're moving upwards, right, to the central level. However, there was nothing like that in case of Planning Commission. However, it's always criticized that there is no difference between the two. It's just old wine and new bottle. Prime Minister ex officio chairman appoints vice chairman of Niti Aayog. First vice chairman was Arvind Panagadia. Suman Beria, current vice chairman of Niti Aayog. To harmonize the interests of national security and economic policy, we prepare strategic and long-term framework. ठीक है, थिंक टैंक है गवर्नमेंट, यूनियन गवर्नमेंट का. दिस इज अ कीवर्ड फॉर यू, थिंक टैंक. बॉटम्स अप अप्रोच, कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म ensures equal participation of all. Don't learn it, okay? Now we have a National Democratic Alliance. So national, sorry, not alliance, not ND, National Developmental Council NDC और राष्ट्रीय विकास परिषद, राइट. एपेक्स बॉडी है, ये भी आपके डिसीजंस और डेवलपमेंटल मैटर्स पर ही प्रिसाइड ओवर बाय प्राइम मिनिस्टर. 652 में बनाई थी अंडर द chairmanship of Jawaharlal Nehru to strengthen and mobilize the effort and resources of the nation in support of 5-year plans made by planning commissions. Just you can say the right hand of planning commission. Council consists of Prime Minister, Union Cabinet Minister, Chief Minister, representatives of the Union territories, members of Niti Aayog, as well Planning Commission. Cooperation of states, strengthen, mobilize the effort and resources, strengthen common economic policies, ensure balanced and rapid efforts. To prescribe the guidelines for the formulation of national plan, including assessment of resources. To consider Niti Aayog formulated by, okay, national plan, consider Niti Aayog guidelines for formulation of national plan, make assessments for implementing the plan. To consider important questions for social and economic policy also. Review the working of the plan from time to time, recommend measures to set out a national plan. राइट, टारगेट सेट करना, ठीक है. अब देखें तो हम थोड़ा सा एक्सटर्नल रिलेशंस में इसराइल रिलेशंस है इधर डाला है, वेरी न्यू टॉपिक. इंडियाज न्यूक्लियर प्रोग्राम. इंडिया का न्यूक्लियर प्रोग्राम हमेशा पीस ओरिएंटेड, इस पे क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज ऑलरेडी वी नो दैट एक क्वेश्चन एनसीईआरटी में भी दिया हुआ है पीस से रिलेटेड या फिर इंडिया की फॉरेन पॉलिसी से रिलेटेड. इंडिया की फॉरेन पॉलिसी मेंशन करो, न्यूक्लियर पॉलिसी मेंशन कर सकते हो उसमें. नो फर्स्ट यूज पॉलिसी. The view of the contemporary regional security, the present government has made it clear policy of no first use, change in consonance for India's regional security. In addition, it is committed to ensuring its membership. The nuclear suppliers group committed to ensuring its membership and opposing partisan and unjust nuclear treaties like CTBT and your एनपीटी. तो जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना, आपका एनसीईआरटी में चीज है, राइट, आर्म्स कंट्रोल क्या होता है या फिर डिसआर्मामेंट क्या होता है. डिसआर्मामेंट का मतलब होता है जब आपके न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स गिव अप कर देता है, न्यूक्लियर नहीं, कोई भी सर्टेन टाइप ऑफ वेपन्स को गिव अप कर देता है, उसको डिसआर्मामेंट बोलते हैं. आर्म्स कंट्रोल जब हम रेगुलेट करते हैं डेवलपमेंट एक्विजिशन किसी भी टाइप ऑफ आर्म्स या वेपन्स का, दैट इज नोन एज आर्म्स कंट्रोल. अगर आप बात करते हैं ना आपके एनपीटी वाले या फिर न्यूक्लियर नॉन प्रोलिफरेशन ट्रीटी या फिर कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव टेस्ट बैन ट्रीटी, ये जो ट्रीटी है ना, ये आपका अबॉलिश नहीं करती न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स को यूज करना, मतलब डिसआर्मामेंट एम नहीं करती, ये बस लिमिट करती है. क्यों? क्योंकि जो तीसरे नेशंस है, दैट इज द परमानेंट मेंबर्स ऑफ द सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल, वो तो न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स होल्ड कर रहे हैं ना, बाकी नेशंस तो उसको सरेंडर कर रहे हैं. इन दैट केस वो अबॉलिश तो कर नहीं रहे बिकॉज वो पांच तो अभी भी होल्ड कर रहे हैं न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स. तो इन दैट केस जो बाकी के नेशंस है, उनसे वो आई वुड से राइट छीन रहे, राइट, उनको न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स को होल्ड करने का या ओन करने का. तो इन दैट केस दिस इज द थिंग. तो नेक्स्ट आ जाते हैं इंडिया इजराइल रिलेशंस. Nearly 45 years after independence, due to various reasons, India's foreign policy with Israel remained largely unexplored. Notwithstanding their gaining independence from the British rule, इंडिया को 1947 में मिली तो इसराइल को 1948 में मिली. इमेमोरियल डिप्लोमेटिक रिलेशंस, एम्बेसी ओपन करी 1992 में. Relations between two countries further intensified with the visits of two heads of the state in 2017 and 18. Two nations have started cooperation on a variety of issues. अब देखो ये जो मैंने बताया ना स्पेस टेक वाले इश्यूज, डायरेक्टली एग्जांपल दे दो आपका. 1971 के वॉर में, राइट, हमें इसराइल की जरूरत थी. 1965 के वॉर में हमें इसराइल की जरूरत थी. हमें जो जो चीजें चाहिए थी इसराइल ने हमें दी. वी वांटेड सम काइंड ऑफ एडवांस्ड weapons, right? We needed some kind of advanced grenade and advanced powder. Basically, to be more precise, it was kind of powder, not exactly able to recall the name of that powder, which is used in weapons and all. You need that powder, and we knew that Israel only had this powder. So Israel was the one that supplied it. At once, Israel even supplied it without our consent, right? And that was the thing that we should think about, right? अब आगे ऊपर आ जाए हम तो जयप्रकाश नारायण देखते हैं. भाई जयप्रकाश नारायण इज नोन फॉर थ्री कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस: फाइट अगेंस्ट करप्शन, प्रिंसिपल ऑफ कम्यूटेरियन socialism, and championing of total revolution. First leader in post-revolution who undertook a tirade against corruption through participation of youth. गुजरात और बिहार में इनका मूवमेंट रहा जयप्रकाश नारायण का. ये ही थी वही द ऑफिस ऑफ लोकपाल अगेंस्ट करप्शन. The principle of communitarian socialism views the society of communities encompassing three players: community, region, Rashtra, or a combined two federation. Based on the above principles, Jaya Prakash Narayan advocated transformation of individual, society, and state through total revolution. The total revolution में हम encompass क्या कर रहे हैं? Moral, cultural, economic, political, educational और ecological transformations. Right to recall importance of village mohalla samitis and his call for ऊपर के लोग to join the political struggle. The essence of transformation revolves around man who would be a real catalyst of change. You can always mention about Jayaprakash Narayan. It's written a bit wrong over here. He the office, so he's the one who basically started the concept of Lokman, right? Ramanoval Lohia and socialism. One of the main proponents of socialism is Ramanoval Lohia. इन्होंने एक नॉन कांग्रेसिज्म टर्म भी coin करा था. I think we'll read about it, right? He championed the idea of democratic socialism while associating socialism with democracy. Lohia described both capitalism and communism equally irrelevant for the Indian society. Democratic socialism has two objectives: economic objective in the form of food and housing, and non-economic objective in terms of democracy and freedom. तो भाई एक कॉन्सेप्ट को यूज कर रहा है, वो बात कर रहा है डेमोक्रेटिक सोशलिज्म की भाई. तो इकोनॉमिक ऑब्जेक्टिव भी ले लिया, नॉन इकोनॉमिक ऑब्जेक्टिव भी ले लिया, और बोल दिया कि हाँ कैपिटलिज्म और कम्युनिज्म की तो जरूरत ही नहीं है. इकोनॉमिक ऑब्जेक्टिव में फूड वगैरह दे रहे हो लोग, नॉन इकोनॉमिक ऑब्जेक्टिव में फ्रीडम दे रहे हो, डेमोक्रेसी दे रहे हो, जैसे वर्ड डेमोक्रेसी है इधर. ही ओपाइंस फोर पिलर्स. अब ये चौभूता राजनीति, वो चार पिलर है भाई. ठीक है, फोर पिलर्स ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स एज वेल एज ऑफ सोशलिज्म. सेंटर, रीजन, डिस्ट्रिक्ट एंड विलेज, ऑल आर लिंक टू ईच अदर. तो सेंटर है, region, district, and village. So he argued policy of affirmative action should not only be downtrodden, but for women also, non-religious minorities also. Based on the premise of democratic socialism and Chubutha Rajniti, supported a party of socialism as an attempt of merging all the parties. So party of socialism, according to Louis, would have three symbols: spade, prison, vote. तो स्पेड प्रेजेंट वोट, प्रिपेयर टू मेक एफर्ट्स. स्पेड यूजुअली आप ना कम्युनिज्म का सिंबल देखते हो एक्चुअली में, थोड़ा थोड़ा कम्युनिज्म की तरफ, हाँ मतलब ये वाला आइडियोलॉजी. वोट, क्योंकि ऑफकोर्स ना, जब शब्द में ही आपका सोशलिज्म आ गया तो उसका मतलब तो है ना, तो थोड़ा सा कम्युनिज्म से लिंक्ड है. सोशलिज्म को कम्युनिज्म का पार्ट जरूर कह सकते हो, राइट. सोशलिज्म को कम्युनिज्म का पार्ट भी कह सकते हो, लेकिन मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी में भी आजकल कैपिटलिज्म और सोशलिज्म दोनों चलता है. तो डायरेक्टली ये बिल्कुल वाटर टाइट डेफिनेशन नहीं है कम्युनिज्म की, या फिर सिनोनिम नहीं है कम्युनिज्म का. स्पेड, प्रिजन एंड वोट. दीनदयाल उपाध्याय एंड इंटेग्रल ह्यूमनिज्म, राइट. राइट. तो इफ यू सी दिस, लेट्स सी. दीनदयाल उपाध्याय तो वही फिलोसोफर थे, सोशियोलॉजिस्ट थे, इकोनॉमिस्ट थे, पॉलिटिशियन थे. इंटेग्रल ह्यूमनिज्म इन्होंने दिया था, विच इज इंटेंड टू प्रेजेंट इंडिजिनियस सोशो इकोनॉमिक मॉडल in which human remains. So, aim of this is to ensure dignified life for every human being while balancing the needs of individual and society. It supports sustainable consumption of natural goods so that resources could be replenished. Integral humanism enhances not only political but also economic and social democracy. It seeks to promote diversity best suited, right? Philosophy, primacy of for the whole, not part, supremacy of dharma, autonomy of society. So Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay opposed both Western capitalist individualism and Marxist socialism. According to Deendayal Upadhyay, capitalism and socialist ideologies only consider the needs of human body and mind. So they are based on materialistic purpose, whereas spiritual development is equally considered important for complete development of human being, which is missing in both capitalism and socialism. Basing his philosophy on the internal conscious pure human soul is to be called chitti. So the Deendayal Upadhyay envisaged a classless and a conflict-free social society. He advocated Indianization of democracy, particularly focused on economic democracy. For him, decentralization and Swadeshi, they're important foundations of economic democracy. His philosophy broadly revolved around the principle of arthayam, which states that both the absence and prominence of artha leads to destruction and denigration of dharma, which is so central to integral humanism. ये क्वेश्चन नहीं आएगा, ये आ जाएगा इंटेग्रल ह्यूमनिज्म किसका है कॉन्सेप्ट, या फिर चौभूर्ती राजनीति किसका कॉन्सेप्ट है, ये आ सकता है. राम और लोहिया का वो कॉन्सेप्ट है, दीनदयाल उपाध्याय का इंटेग्रल ह्यूमनिज्म है. टोटल रेवोल्यूशन का कॉन्सेप्ट किसका है बताना मेरे को, कमेंट में बताना, ठीक है. Right? let's do- तो ये एक्चुअली में इनकी बात बहुत अच्छी है कि individualism, Marxist socialism. So according to Deendayal Upadhyay, capitalists and socialist ideologies only consider the needs of human body and mind. So they're based on materialistic purposes, whereas spiritual development, that's so basically we're talking about material goods इतना important नहीं है, spirituality भी equally important है, ठीक है. तो right. तो स्पिरिचुअलिटी भी क्या है, इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट है, ठीक है। ओके, तो नेक्स्ट आते हैं हम डेमोक्रेटिक अपसर्ज। राइट, इंक्रीजिंग पार्टिसिपेशन ऑफ पीपल इन डेमोक्रेटिक पॉलिटिक्स इज ब्रॉडली कैरेक्टराइज्ड एज डेमोक्रेटिक अपसर्ज। ठीक है, बेस्ड ऑन द प्रिंसिपल सोशल साइंटिस्ट have characterized three democratic upsurges in post independent history of India. First democratic upsurge is 1950s to 1980s, which was based on participation of Indian adult voters in center, falsifying the Western myth that the success of the democracy requires modernization, urbanization, education, access. Successful holding of elections to both Lok Sabha and legislative assemblies all across the states is a principle of parliamentary democracy were a testament of India's first democratic upsurge. The 1980s and increasing political participation of Dokas like SC, SC, OBC, interpreted as second economic democratic upsurge, has made it more accommodative, accessible, has not only made a major change in standard of living, especially the participation of these clubs into organizational political platforms give them an opportunity to strengthen self-respect and ensure empowerment in the democratic politics. Era of liberalization, privatization, globalization from early 1990s is contributed as the emergence of the competitive market, encompassing all important aspects of it and paving the third democratic upsurge. Competitive electoral market, which is based not on the principle of survival of the fittest, but rather the survival of the ablest. Right? So it underlines three shifts in the Indian electoral market from state to market, from government to governance, and from state as a controller to state as a facilitator. Moreover, third democratic upsurge seeks to promote the participation of youth who constitute the significant chunk of the Indian society and have emerged as a real game changers in the view of increasing political preference for both government and development governance in India's contemporary democratic politics. राइट, तो अगर हम बात करें डेमोक्रेटिक अपसर्च, जब लोगों का पार्टिसिपेशन डेमोक्रेसी में बढ़ जाता है उसको हम बोलते हैं डेमोक्रेटिक अपसर्च। तीन तरीके की डेमोक्रेटिक अपसर्च हमने देखी है, राइट। लेट मी ओपन द एनोटेशन, राइट, दैट इज वेरी स्मूथ। ओके, सो तीन तरह के क्या आपकी क्या है डेमोक्रेटिक अपसर्जेस देखी गई हैं, राइट। बहुत सिंपल है, पहला आप ले लो 1950s वाला। 1950s वाला जो आपका टाइम पीरियड था, पहली बार इलेक्शंस हुए थे, 17 करोड़ वोट करने आए थे, उसमें से जो एलिजिबल थे, राइट, 17 करोड़ एलिजिबल थे, 489 पर हम लड़ाई कर रहे थे सीट्स पर, 15% उसमें से लिटरेट है। तो ये तो था ना डेमोक्रेटिक अपसर्च, बिकॉज बहुत सारे लोग डेमोक्रेसी में पार्टिसिपेट करने आए थे। दूसरा है आपका 1980s वाला पीरियड, आपको याद होगा इस पीरियड ऑफ टाइम में मंडल इशू आया था। तो मंडल इशू के टाइम पर बहुत सारी चीजें आई थी कि बहुत सारे प्रोटेस्ट और डिमांड स्टार्ट हुई थी to make the lower caste communities, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes more accessible, right? Not accessible, make resources more accessible for them. So that is the second democratic upsurge. Third democratic upsurge आपकी आई थी एलपीजी रिफॉर्म्स के टाइम पर, जो हमने बात करी थी कि आपका सर्वाइवल ऑफ फिटेस्ट नहीं होगा, सर्वाइवल ऑफ एबलेस्ट होगा, राइट। गवर्नमेंट आपका जो ऐसा कंट्रोलर है, फैसिलिटेटर बन जाएगा। स्टेट से मार्केट पर आ जाएंगे, कॉम्युनिज्म से कैपिटलिज्म आ जाएंगे, बिकॉज हमने प्रोटेक्शनिस्ट पॉलिसीज अडॉप्ट करी थी उस टाइम। गवर्नमेंट से गवर्नेंस पर आ जाएंगे, राइट। तो वो चीजें हमने बात करी थी दोबारा से। तो भाई इस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पर हम अगेन ये तीन तरह की डेमोक्रेटिक अपसर्जेस हैं, ठीक है। इसका क्लियर पता होना चाहिए, बिकॉज क्वेश्चंस इस पर आएंगे सैम्पल पेपर में, प्रीवियस क्वेश्चंस में इस पर एमसीक्यू आया, इस पर कभी पूरा नोट लिखने को नहीं आया। जो जो नोट लिखने को आया है वो आया है 21st सेंचुरी वाला क्वेश्चन, जो मैंने आपको बताया था कि इंडिया इज एन इमर्जिंग कंट्री इन 21st सेंचुरी, उस पर क्वेश्चन आया है। क्वेश्चन अरब स्प्रिंग पर, लाइक अगर थोड़ा सा, अब हम इसको थोड़ा सा सॉर्ट करें और थोड़ा सा देखें कि क्वेश्चन किधर से आया है एट द एंड, राइट। तो लेट मी यूज कलर, दिस इज टू इट फॉर यू, रेड से आई एम मार्किंग। तो कहाँ से क्वेश्चन आया है, राइट, लास्ट के कुछ 4-5 साल में अरब स्प्रिंग से क्वेश्चन आया है, अरब स्प्रिंग से एमसीक्यू क्वेश्चन आया है, ठीक है। ब्रिक्स से क्वेश्चन नहीं आया, रशिया के कंटेंट से क्वेश्चन आया है, एमसीक्यू क्वेश्चन है वो, ठीक है। इंडिया, दिस स्टेटमेंट हैज कम डायरेक्टली एज अ, आई थिंक एज अ 4 और एज अ 6 मार्कर क्वेश्चन डायरेक्टली। इसराइल पर कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है, यूनेस्को, दीज ऑल थ्री दे आर पार्ट ऑफ 1 mark only, match the following MCQs etc. टेररिज्म पर इस टॉपिक पर क्वेश्चन आता है, इस टॉपिक पर 2 से 4 मार्क्स का, इसको इंक्लूड कर दो, अगर बोले कि एलुसिडेट द नॉन ट्रेडिशनल सिक्योरिटी तो उस पर आ जाएगा क्वेश्चन।
ये इम्पोर्टेंट है, ये आता है, ये आ सकता है आराम से 4 to 6 मार्कर में। पटेल का कंट्रीब्यूशन इन द इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ द इंडियन यूनियन प्रिंसिपल स्टेट्स वगैरह के बारे में। नीति आयोग के बारे में सिर्फ और सिर्फ एंट्री हुआ है। इवन इस स्टेटमेंट पर डायरेक्टली एमसीक्यू करा गया था, हैदराबाद जूनागढ़ और कश्मीर। इस पर कुछ नहीं आया है, इस टॉपिक पर इस रिलेशन कुछ नहीं आया है। जयप्रकाश नारायण स्टेटमेंट उठकर आ गई, किसने दिया टोटल रेवोल्यूशन? नो जयप्रकाश नारायण। इस पर बस एमसीक्यू आया है। राम मनोहर लोहिया पे यह आया था कि वो गेव दिस कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ चौबूत राजनीति, एमसीक्यू आया था इस पर। कोई पिलर वगैरह कुछ नहीं पूछे गए। डेमोक्रेटिक अपसर्च, इस पर एमसीक्यू आया था सेकंड डेमोक्रेटिक अपसर्च पर। बट अगर मान लो सेकंड या फिर थर्ड, फर्स्ट या फिर थर्ड डेमोक्रेटिक अपसर्च बोले तो कोई बात नहीं है। इंटीग्रल ह्यूमनिज्म पर कुछ नहीं आएगा। लेकिन कश्मीर इशू, इस पर डिटेल में एनसीईआरटी में जो लिखा हुआ है उस पर 4 to 6 मार्कर का आ सकता है कश्मीर पर। आ सकता है, वो एनडीए थर्ड और फोर्थ टर्म, ये एनसीईआरटी की बैक एक्सरसाइज में दिया हुआ है और ये क्वेश्चन नहीं आया अब तक। हाउएवर इश्यूज ऑफ डेवलपमेंट गवर्नेंस वगैरह पे ये लिख सकते हो, ये एक बार आया हुआ है, देखा है मैंने। So this is for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you prepare well for your board exams. So this was an initiative from my side. Thank you so much.